Here we go. Here I am. Yeah, so Aquaman, right? He's right in there. I don't know if YouTube's going to allow me to have that on, or Facebook. It might be copyrighted. I don't know. But I was talking on the last session about the whistle. The whistle going to all the earth, and if you were listening, you heard the hiss, and part of that Hebrew word is actually hiss. We're going to just find that verse again, and let's see if we can go back to that verse. The Hebrew word of that. Oh, by the way, welcome to I'm Graham Talkler. Welcome to Eagle Talk. And we're just, this is the Maori Haka to all nations. I was going to say the Maori war Haka to all nations. I thought, oh, better not use the word war. Goodness knows. But, so we can see here in Isaiah 5, and let me get on the right screen for you. On Isaiah 5, it says that he will lift a banner to all the nations from afar, and he will whistle to them from the end of the earth. Surely they will come with speed swiftly. And I'm wondering, is there something really prophetic in the Maori cry from the ends of the earth? This whistle, this traditional haka and traditional calling, and even like the porphyry into the marae, that's welcoming the guests into the house. And I find these things very prophetic, and I just think it's amazing that that here, written 2,500 years ago plus some, actually Isaiah I think dates more to 2,700 years ago. And here in chapter 5 verse 26, he says that he'll whistle to the nations. And we showed you that word before, and you can see there that in the literal it means to hiss. He will hiss to the nations, and in that haka there's that hiss. Did you hear the hiss? Let me go back to the hiss, and let's see now. And we'll just go back a little bit here, and let's get that hiss again, right? Yeah, nothing like from Aquaman, okay? Oh, he just goes for it. I'm sure this is going to be banned on copyright or something. But these guys are great. Let's just play this through to the end, because I'll leave the links on, I'll put the links up for you. I'm using a few links today. And I just want to talk about the haka a bit. Then I want to talk about the spiritual aspect that I believe that the Lord's saying in this. This is a marvelous one. So, Momoa, is that how I pronounce it? Jason Momoa performing the haka. Oh, watch here now. They get down low. As I think it gets down low on this one. Oh no, this is it. That was an early. Okay, I'll leave you the links and you can see those links. And But we go back to that moment in about a minute, about around here, and we'll just play that hiss again. It was, it's not. I know I've heard it before, and I'm sure everyone familiar with, Maori and Maori. I don't know exactly why that's done in a haka. I would have no idea, and I don't know if even Emma would know. But if you do know, let me know, please, because this is amazing. I just found this today. Yeah, that hiss is in there. Yeah, there you go. There you go. The hiss. Yeah. The hiss. Yeah, I've heard a lot of mixed stories about the haka and what it means and everything, and I think there's a bit, I don't really believe all the stories that I hear, and but I do believe in, it's obviously eventuated from somewhere, and it's just interesting that even Maori, have different stories about how the haka eventuated, but there it is, and it's not just about the haka. It's about there's a whole cultural cry, and there's a whole welcoming. There's a whole process of welcoming people or challenging people in their welcome. And I just think it's amazing that here in Scripture we have a place where it talks about that he will whistle to the nations, but he'll do it, he said, from the ends of the earth. So that this whistling to the nations, he said, all nations, where am I? Wrong one. Here we go. He will lift up a banner to the nations from afar. That's what we are. We're from afar from, I should put up a map, but, Israel is on exactly the opposite side of the earth. So everything prospectively is being spoken from Israel. The prophets being the prophets of Israel. And it says, and he will whistle, and that's what we're saying, that hiss. And it has different meanings, but all the meanings seem to be relative. So we'll look at those meanings here, and whistle to them from the end of the earth. You see, we're at the other side of the planet, and many people know this, but I'm just being a little bit ABC in my explanation here, and hitting the right mouse, and then we'll look at this explanation again on whistle, and it says to be shrill. To be shrill, and wow, Hana Rawhiti, when she opened up on that haka at Parliament, she started with that shrill, and I actually haven't got that one loaded to play. You've all played it, you've all heard it, and the other meaning of this word shirak is to call, as a call, and if we just look at some other meanings here. We've got to whistle, to pipe, to hiss as a signal. And what a signal, like a sign or a signal. What a signal, when that cry goes out from Maori, everyone knows what it means and comes together. And, and I'm just like, gee, Winston was saying this is so non-relevant. Everyone's hearing the news press of Winston at the moment, and it's like, oh yeah, this is non-relevant. What did he say? Well, the police, funny enough, the police said about the hikoi ran as planned. So, okay, so there was some planning in the background. Okay, so they planned it. All right, get over it. They planned it. Of course they planned it. We plan things. But Winston says there are a bunch of extremists and Middle New Zealand has had enough. Well, who's Middle New Zealand was down there? 50,000 people down at the hikoi, and he's saying that they're not Middle New Zealand. Winston actually does need to retire with that sort of voice. And Emma just went through the blog on Facebook, and like 5,000-6,000 comments, and most of them were against what Winston has said. He's shown himself not to be relevant. He's shown himself, we thought he was coming in as a spring lamb to help us out, but he's shown to be a dinosaur. He's calling New Zealand a democracy. Well, I would question the fact that it's a pure democracy. It's a democracy that's controlled by oligarchs and elites from overseas, and that's not a democracy. Winston goes on to say, New Zealand First is the voice of reason and common sense. Well, they put a bill in that's reduced the prescriptions for puberty blockers. Great. Okay, well done, Winston. You took one step forward by getting that bill in, and everyone's happy about that. But then you must have taken 10 steps backwards by claiming that this was not relevant. Fancy claiming this is not relevant when you've got so many people down there in Parliament, are really, and he's like, oh, well, you got to understand JT did it. Well, just because JT did it, don't be jealous. He's using it to raise funds. Well, show us the proof, Winston. Show us the proof. I think you're really talking to the hand and they're not interested. And to say that you're talking to middle New Zealand when you only got 6% of the vote shows that you're talking to a fringe of New Zealand. And by all means, should have gave some praise to Hana, because if we look then on the Te Ora News website, and I'll leave a link on this, it says that on the website concerning that event in Parliament, it says that many A-list celebrities have shared the video, with the reaching far and wide, being viewed over 370 million times on TikTok. 370 million times on TikTok. So I thought, talk about, so I'm saying, whistling to the world. I mean, I didn't have this, I only saw this morning. I didn't have it the other day when I come live, but I just saw it this morning, and come on, 370 million views. I'm like, is this credible? I don't use TikTok, so I was thinking I should go in and use TikTok and just check this out. Look, if anyone's using TikTok, if you could post it on, it'd be posted up for me. It'd be really great. But come on, 370 million views. And Winston is rubbishing that? Man, she just become world famous in New Zealand. And then I discovered also that that was not her first haka in Parliament. So apparently on her opening speech, she did a haka. And Hana is the youngest parliamentary member ever to come into New Zealand Parliament, or for 170 years, which is, I think, how long we've been running as Parliament. So, youngest member, and she's doing some breakout stuff. And look, this is what I'm thinking here. I'm thinking that everyone runs on script. I don't know if she scripted this. I don't know. If she's doing this according to her media script, with the Maori Party, with a JT, is saying, hey, Hana, I want you to say this. Or if their publicist is saying, Hana, I want you to push this, I would like to think she's doing this out of her own voice. This is her, because not many politicians will do things from their own voice, from their own heart. And one of the only ones we know that has been doing things from their own voice, their own heart, has been what's happened here? Has been Donald Trump. Sorry, I'm stalling over that Donald Trump moment. Okay, I can do it this side. Has been Donald Trump, and it's like, oh my gosh, Donald Trump, right, speaks on his own mind, his own way. He even freestyles, and if he wasn't freestyling, he would be dead now, because that bullet would have taken him out. So he freestyles, whereas most members of Parliament, most MPs, most elites and everyone, they talk off a script that's been written for them. Now, I don't know whether Hana is writing something she wanted to say, or it's off a script, but look, if she's actually able to freestyle and actually speak her mind in her voice, then I'm really big hats off her to. It's like, have we got any like that in New Zealand? Really? Let's see.
Watching.
There she goes. Yeah, there you go. This is her opening speech. Was it 9 months ago or something? 11 months ago. 11 months ago. And so she got a whole haka going in Parliament right back then. So why were they upset with her then?
New Zealand MP in over 170 years.
And here she is talking about why they're upset. So you should, if you're wondering about it, you should listen to that. I'm going to leave a link on there to listen to that about what she's got to say, because I just think that she's really speaking from her heart, and I think that's super cool. If indeed she's got a message that appeals to the young people of this nation, and 21, and she is really standing her ground. Wow, so is she our next yeah, I'm not going to say it, but I'm just impressed. I just think, good on the young people, good on her, and again, my heart goes out to this type of endeavour in our nation, and she seems to me to be really sovereign and with a free voice and really for her people. And if you haven't listened to her testimony, her message, I would recommend that you do listen to it. And talking about appealing to the young people, the next haka I wanted to show was because I guess haka was traditionally like a man thing, But no, let's go on to this young haka here. So, appealing to young people and how haka is relevant to New Zealand, and I've kind of written in here on my notes that haka is part of our society, and to kind of hoo-ha her breaking out and doing a haka when her opening speech was a haka. She wasn't a boo-hooed then, but when she did it that time, they're all upset by her. And I think it's a statement that has deeper meaning than just upsetting the tradition of the day. And so maybe Brownlee made too big a thing about it. But here I want to show you this haka, and this is Auckland Grammar versus King's College, first 15, yearly first 15 rugby challenge, and talking about showing how relevant haka is amongst the young kids. This is amazing. Here we go here. And, and again, just get a load of all the, this is Kiwi, this is New Zealand, and this is future New Zealand. These are, this is a high-class college. So is this the King's College? There you go. Yeah, there's all the married ladies. This is a high-class kids. These kids are going to be in Parliament and, high society and business and things like that through New Zealand and be leaders in New Zealand. And you can see there that haka is very much a part of their heart and part of their mind. They're fully into what they're doing, They're giving it everything they got in this haka. And I just think, yeah. And as we all know, the haka is found right through the world, and everywhere you can go, in all of New Zealand sports and politics, somewhere along the line, somebody's doing a haka or something. But what have we got there? And I'm going to put a link up also on just something that I thought really showed the attitude of the haka. What it's about. I've got a little footage here of I won't show it because I think it'll just totally kill my copyright ability here. But there's a film called The Haka, New Zealand World War I short film by producer Isaac Lee. And it actually is a beautiful little moving film that's really worth watching. And it's got a key line. Did I write the key line down? I didn't write it down. But it's got a key line that basically it's about the soccer game that was played on the Christmas break between the Maori line and the German line on the First World War, and they have a 1 hour break for Christmas. Stop killing each other, and then they decide to have a soccer game. But the Maori battalion wanted to do a haka first, and he had to explain it to the English general that, look, we're going to lose the soccer game because we don't have a clue how to play it. So at least give us some pride. This is the only thing we've got, is the haka. And then after they did the haka, the German soldiers all saluted the Maori battalion, because they saw the bravery, and they commended them for their bravery. And it's a nice little film and a reenactment of a real event that happened. So I'll leave that link on there. And I want to just move on to my main issue. My main theme is, talking about somebody able to freestyle in Parliament, freestyle in their delivering their message. We have the Argentina, the new Argentina elect, that's radically transforming, I think it's Argentina, radically transforming that nation, because he's working in the same sort of Trumpism model of being able to freestyle and pull the heart of the people into a righteous cause to eliminate socialism from the nation. And we know now that America is in a moment of time where there's a dangerous new escalation of war, as President Biden pretty much declared world war. Oh, why not leave President Trump with a nuclear war to clean up? Horrific. So the Northern Hemisphere is not a good place, and we're in the Southern Hemisphere, so the Northern Hemisphere is, almost going into a third world war. The Southern Hemisphere is having a haka war. We're like the feet, they're the head. But my feeling is that as this goes into January the 6th, there's going to be many fleeing down and fleeing out of the Northern Hemisphere into the Southern Hemisphere, and they're going to start coming here. And what you need to realize is these guys that are going to be coming are going to be the controllers. They're going to be the globalists. They're going to be the elites. They're going to be ones that want to control our nation. You got to realize when they, at the close of the Second World War, as the Allied forces was bringing their troops into Germany, the Nazis fled through the world. As Germany got captured by the Allied, the enemy fled throughout the whole world, and they they went to Chile, I think. They went to, was it Canada? They went to Ukraine, as we know now what's happening in Ukraine. And so look how long has it taken them to, and I think they went to Argentina as well, where they've just been defeated there. Look how long it took. 1945, and we're at 2000 and going on almost 25. We're talking a lot of years, 80 years, to deal with this. You see what I'm saying here? We don't want our country filled up with globalists. So what have we got left? These, and the whole idea that, we just want democracy, everyone's equal. What's happening is anti-democracy, because our original documentation of existence in New Zealand is based on the Treaty of Waitangi. To say that we can disavow our first treaty and be signed into a second global treaty that actually is a contradiction to the first treaty, that in itself is treasonous. The nations that, people do this all the time. These things happen all the time, but it's actually a treasonous thing to do. and to not have an affinity and an empathy with the First Nation, the host nation, that's actually been tread on and tread down and despised and brutalized, while trying to uphold the peace of this nation and the goodwill of this nation, and then to just rip their cause off them and say they don't have a cause, is treasonous. And, you know, there's a kind of like an information war going on here, you know. So backstabbing Maori is not the way forward, you know. But there's a cry going out from Maori in the meantime. There's a cry of a gathering. There's a cry of unity. There's a cry of, and I said it when we first come down to Hana Rawhiti, and we were praying through the township and just praying over the nation, and it was in the lockdown period, and I saw this picture of the chieftain, the Maori chieftain, coming together. You know, the old, like, it was through the genealogies, through the whakapapa of, and that it's like, hey, we've got this treaty that was settled by the chiefs, and it's a living document. And here the host nation has allowed the visiting nation that's the hosting to have their way for decade after decade. The New Zealand company just having their way, doing and interpreting how they pleased, and it's like, well, the crimes against the treaty, you know, by the New Zealand company has never been really judged. And it's like, there's been done a verdict on the treaty to say it's a living document, it's true. But it's like the holders of the document, the holders of the land, the host nation hasn't come together as a chieftain, have they, and actually done their analysis on the New Zealand company to say how well they've treated, how well they've handled and managed this document that they actually live under. Of course, they're doing everything to get out from living under it, aren't they? But, you know, in doing that, you're just opening the door to globalists to take this nation over. Is that what you want? Because if you have no empathy with New Zealand Maori losing their land, what's to say that the nation that comes and takes New Zealand over next will have any empathy with you and your land? You see, that's the way it goes around. These things go on big time cycles. If you study history, they go on big time cycles. So God, who's the judge of all, God is the judge of all, and this kind of monoculture is not a God thing. You know, monoculture, multiculture is God. Monoculture is an atheistic, communistic model. That's not scriptural at all. It's not. And I think, you know, this amazing statement here, which I haven't read out yet, and I'll come into this again from Hana Rawhiti, and we talking about how God is multicultural. Listen to this amazing statement she makes on this. I think it was on her speech at Parliament at the Hikoi. She says, a quote from her. She says, "The world is watching us, te iwi Maori. Whatever we do next, all indigenous people are relying on us." Wow. And I just think, you know, all indigenous people, I mean, the monoculture, the elitists are like trying to eliminate all culture and have this monoculture, this one world society design the way they wanted to design it. So there's no original tongue, there's no original ethnic dance or celebration or anything, and it's just all one culture that they've designed, and that's what they like. But here Hannah says that all indigenous people are relying on us. Talking, I assume, about all nations. I don't know. I felt when she said it, when I read it, I thought, oh, is that all nations? All indigenous people through the nations? Because she didn't say all Maori people are relying on us. She would have said all Maori people, but she said all indigenous people, saying the other indigenous races throughout the world. She said the world is watching us, te iwi Māori. Whatever we do next, all indigenous people are relying on us. How did a 21-year-old get that perspective, I don't know, but I think it's God-given. I really do think it's God-given. And, God bless her for being able to say that with the integrity and the heart she said it, because God is about all nations. And the scripture is very clear that he calls all nations. I'll just flip across to, get the right mouse here, flip across to this. And, just starting in on scriptures, I did some work before on all nations. Here in Isaiah 2:2, right at the beginning of Isaiah, and our key chapter has been Isaiah. But look at this at the beginning. It says that now it shall come to pass in the latter days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established on the top of the mountains, and it shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow to it. All nations. So that shows that in the great millennial period, in the great time to come, there will be many nations. It won't be a single nation, right? The nations will not be eliminated. Now, in the Greek, that word nations is actually the word ethnic. It's the Greek word ethnos, where ethnicity comes from. So when we actually talk all nations in the Greek chapters, in the Greek passages, we're actually calling to all ethnicity. Isn't that amazing? It's actually the word ethnos. And so we'll just go across to our next one here. And we have a look here at Psalms 86. Again, keeping still in the Hebrew, Psalms 86, all nations whom you have made. That's interesting, eh? I like this. All nations that you have made, all nations that God has made, shall come and worship before you, O Lord, and shall glorify your name. For you are great and do wondrous things, you alone are God. So all nations that you have made. So, people that are trying to make their own nations, no. All nations that you have made is talking about the nations that stretch back to the biblical period. And all the nations that are alive today, sovereign nations, can be traced back to the biblical periods. And so, but, this one world government thing that people have been feared of and scared of, I don't believe that they've got a long-term life. I don't believe that they have got really existence in the world anymore. To me, they're becoming very irrelevant. And it's like, isn't Brian Tamaki talking about the one world nation, that he wants to fly a single New Zealand flag? He doesn't want an ethnic representation anymore in New Zealand. That shocks the heck out of me. Right in the middle of the most critical debate, he doesn't want to fly a Maori flag. What's wrong with having a multicultural society? I don't find that offensive, and I'm as white as they come. I was brought up white. Man, the first Maori family I ever knew about was when I moved to the North Shore with my dad. I was about, 13, 14, and I was a little bit scared of them. They were only one Maori family on the North Shore that I knew about. And, I got to know them, and I got to know the family a little bit. Just, sad story, but, I'm a white guy, but look, multicultural is beautiful in the eyes of God. Beautiful. And when you actually understand the heart of the Father for the nations, you got to get on board with him and stop fighting him. And I can't believe that Winston's got all on this thing of, of scorning what's going on. Look, I don't care whether it was for a correct political reason or an incorrect political reason. I don't really care. I don't, I'm sure if I do a bit of research, I can find out JT's viewpoints behind everything, and I'd like to know JT's viewpoints, and I hope, some of my friends can tell me JT's viewpoints behind where he's coming from. But when I look at the heart of what was being delivered, forget everything else, forget the theatre, because the theatre, again, I said before, I think the theatre was fantastic, thank you very much. But the heart of what was going on, to me, is authentic. It was authentic. Hana was being authentic, and authentic is what New Zealand is meant to be about, folks. And that authentic nature of the Kiwi, it sets us apart from the rest of the world. And when you get 370 million views on TikTok, you find that other people are interested in an authentism as well. Thank the Lord for that. So God is calling all nations. Now, check this out here. All nations, here in Psalms 86, all nations whom you have made shall come and worship before him. Okay, moving on to the next one. Now, I think we're stepping into here the book of Revelation. So we're coming into, this is our apocalyptic chapters, and my view on book of Revelation and how it unfolds. So that I understand the time sequences of it, as you can see behind me here. I got my new chart that's getting made on 5 millennial days, and I'm really excited about it. So keep a watch on this space. To really give you a proper compass, a time compass to understand Scripture. But back to what we're talking about, and don't get diverted. Okay, here we go. And he said to me, you must prophesy again about many peoples, nations, tongues, and kings. Okay, we're going to flick this into the interlinear. Hold on, we're going to use the other mouse. We're going to flick this into the interlinear. And that's not the one I'm going to. Sorry, wrong one. We're going to flick this into the interlinear. When that comes up, we're going to flick this into the interlinear. We're going to have a quick check on that, on the Greek words. And as I said, nations is the word ethos. Oh, goodness me. And I really got the wrong... Okay, here we go. And here we go. Now look at this. Check this out. Here we go. We're getting it. Just saying, bear with me. Here we go. Nations. Ethos. Ethnos. A race, a tribe. Okay, non-Jewish. Anyone believing that the book of Revelation is only written to the Jews, there's so much reference to all nations out of the book of Revelation, it's ridiculous. And this word actually means non-Jewish. All right, so it's ethnicity. All right, okay. We won't get into the discussion about whether Maori is a lost tribe. Not today. That'll mess things up. Okay, so you must prophesy again before all peoples. Laity. That's the word laos, or where laity comes from. Okay. Ethnos. Glossia. Tongues. All tongues. So we're not going to have this mono language. And all kings. You're not going to have a single king. And all kings. Basil. Yeah, the Basel Treaty. Basel. So, the final governments are not going to be what you think they're going to be, a one government. This prophecy that's going to go forth, this chapter 10, verse 11, and the time schedules is right now. This time schedule is right now. There's going to be a prophetic message, a new prophetic message going throughout all the earth. What will it look like? That's going to be interesting. Be great if we had some more people on the same page as this, so we can actually start really understanding what it looks like, what this new prophetic message will look like. He said that you must prophesy again to many peoples, nations, tongues, and kings. My point is that God is interested in many nations. He is interested in many tongues. He is interested in many kings. That's what the end time looks like. And it doesn't matter what the globalists do, the end time is still going to look like that. Now, right here in chapter 14, this is through some really major global events here. We're still in our present time and going forward in future years. I saw another angel flying in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach to those who dwell on the earth, to every nation, tribe, tongue, and people. Again, every nation, every ethnos. So my point is that there is a call that goes out to the nations, and that It's a prophetic call that's going to go to the nations, calling the nations, and calling the nations, as I've said in earlier podcasts, calling the nations to a gathering. There's going to be a great gathering, and many gatherings gathering before the great gathering. And Maori have got something in their heart to gather, to the big feast. There's a prophetic thing happening when they do these big feasts, when they gather to their whānau, to a hui, or and they have a big feast. They always feed everyone, and there's a celebration of family at that time, and there's a cry that goes out to call everyone in to the house. Can you see what I'm saying here? And I believe that there's a cry going out throughout the whole world, a whistle going from the ends of the earth. And so I believe this is the will, and this is the heart of God that's happening here from the end of the earth, from the nation Aotearoa, New Zealand. That's got to be exciting stuff. And I believe that anyone that resists it, anyone that comes against it, it's going to be minimized. They're going to be ostracized. They're going to be just trying to get in the way. They're just going to get run over because they're trying to get in the way of the things that God is doing. And I think it's a marvelous work. It's a marvelous thing. I believe it's got a long way to go yet, and a long pathway to go. But I really honor the politically, the unique voice. I honor the fact of a unique voice. I don't know why. It seems like Parliament got behind what was happening and yet got upset with Hana doing the... so I don't know how much theatrics were behind it. I don't know why. There's a lot of controversy. There's a lot of conspiracy. These things always happen. I certainly would like to know more about maybe the back room deals that happened in all of this. And again, I said on the first one, it's always very suspicious when... it was police friendly. You wonder whether that's actually freedom friendly. So it's like, well, what's going on here? Parliament friendly, police friendly. That does not seem to be freedom friendly, does it? So I'm suspicious as anyone about all of that. But I'm saying biblically, it doesn't matter whether it was for a right reason or a wrong reason. The gifts and the callings are without repentance. It still happened. And it is happening. And the call is on the Maori people. And so I'm just saying we should embrace that, and we should be proud of being in New Zealand, being part of a wonderful culture, and being part of this wonderful cohesion of this mingling of peoples, over these last 200 years, and this beautiful cry that comes out in New Zealand, and we should be proud of it. And I believe God is wanting to do something marvelous through it. And so I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to leave it on a haka, I think, as we'll carry on with the boys' haka. It was pretty good, I thought, and as we finish here. And thank you for listening. I'm just going to get this screen a little bit more centered up, actually. Okay, that's it. Yeah, I mean that's just massive, eh? Talk about a crowd haka, that one. But check out. Oh, look at this guy. Yeah. You got to see the response to this one too. It was fantastic. It was really great. I'm sure everyone's seen these things. Like I say, I'll leave the links. I mean, this is such a unique culture. These videos are going all around the world at the moment. The whole world is looking at New Zealand going, what is this? And I've seen videos in Chinese, videos in different... Oh, here we go. Oh, that's a response. That was strong. Again, you know, this is everybody. This is New Zealand. You know, and they really do a real response here. I'll move myself off.
Papa talks about the sacredness of genealogy, and these hakas and these chants reflect the great history that exists in our schools and in our wider society. Former All Black coach